So Temba was having drinks with his buddies at the pub last night, and everybody started to boast about how strong they are in the home. And Temba said, well, on Friday, I had a fight with my missus, and she ended up on her knees. And her friends are like, wow, you're the man. How did that happen? Well, she started looking for me from under the bed. Good evening, and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. It's Motivation Monday, and we are on that trip of winning teamwork, that leads to winning. Last week, Dr. T took us on a journey where he described amazingly how teamworks work, and he used the metaphor of a relay team. It was an amazing conversation we had, and I know that as we go to the next level of this conversation tonight, talking about the characteristics of effective teams, I know Dr. T is going to take us to another level. So thank you very much for joining us. We truly appreciate your time. We truly appreciate your patronage. You are indeed part of this community and this family that we are building right here on Talk with Rams Live. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please also comment by sending WhatsApp voice notes on 0672718239. We want to see all your comments on all the platforms. Your participation is very, very key. Good evening, Dr. Thando Sibanda.
Good evening, my brother. How are you doing, sir?
I'm talking lovely, Dr. T, and how are you?
I am refreshed and ready for the week, man.
That's how it is, Dr. T. When you are there, all of us are refreshed for the week. You are the one that takes us to the next level. As I said to you last week when we spoke about this relay team, I did say, no, I am convinced you're the third man in the team. You're the third man in the team. The differentiator.
The differentiator.
You're the differentiator, Dr. T.
No, thank you, man. We work together and we move the team forward. I think that's brilliant. That's amazing.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. T, for joining us. Let's recap a bit on what we spoke about last week before we move on to our topic tonight. I want us to recap on the advantage of working as a team.
All right. Look, we started speaking last week where we contextualized the whole point of teamwork, and we contextualized the members of a team. But we said that every team, the advantage of working as a team is that every team has individuals. They are each gifted differently, and yet they bring their differences and they work together for the purposes of achieving the goals of a team. And so you've got a formula here which is called the power of synergy. The power of synergy says 1 + 1 is greater than 2, and so you leverage on each other's differences for the advantage and the benefit of a team, and the output you are getting is so much better than what you could have gotten alone. That's the point.
And that's what we mean by 1 + 1 is greater than 2.
Oh, absolutely. 1 + 1 is greater than 2, because today's heroes are no longer Lone Rangers. It's no longer the Texas Ranger. It's no longer $6 million man. Neither is it the Bionic Woman or Bruce Lee. No, the heroes of today are teams. You are talking of a Barcelona. It's a team. You're talking of the Los Angeles Lakers. It's a team. You're talking of Mamelodi Sundowns. It's a team. The heroes of today are teams, my brother.
Well, actually, even in individual sport, Dr. T, when I think about Lewis Hamilton, he's got a team behind him. When he speaks, He speaks about we, even in the interviews. He doesn't say I. It's a team all the time.
Oh, absolutely. I actually saw a picture of him. I think there were over 20 guys in his team. He took a photo, he said, this is the team. There were over 20. We are so used to the guy out there on the track on his own. And you forget that for him to get the results that he gets, He's got to rely a lot on a whole lot of other people that help him to make it happen. It is indeed a team, absolutely.
Yes, and then you spoke about team rules, Dr. T. You said every team has 4 members on the track, and we need to understand ourselves as who are we on this track in the team that we work with, whether at work, whether at home, whether in our relationships, whether in our social clubs. What are these 4 members? Who are they again? Remind us.
Right. Just quickly, every team has got 4 types of people, and it's interesting because you can find yourself in the team. It doesn't always follow that the CEO is the finisher. No, you can find yourself in the team. There is the guy that gets the ball rolling. That's the starter. The starter runs the 4x100 facing away from the finishing line. Literally, the starter starts their job and finishes their job without seeing the finishing line. They are the ones that are there earliest and get things going. I always say the starter is your boss, because there is no podium moment for the team when you don't have someone to start the race. They are not celebrated. They are the least recognized. Their names are not known. Like what that guy said when he walked into the Kennedy Space Center, the president, and found a janitor and said to him, what job do you do here? And the janitor said, well, I'm putting a man on the moon, And so that guy understood that even though his role is not recognized, is not celebrated, he's not the face of the campaign, but without him, the astronaut could fall and injure himself in a dirty restroom or in a slippery floor restroom. And so, and so you realize that starters are the people that get the ball rolling. And the starter hands the baton over to what is called the equalizer. And the equalizer runs that long stretch and also has his back to the finishing line. Isn't it amazing that when you understand the context of teamwork, you will not complain about the fact that you are not the one on the, that you are not the one holding the microphone and talking to the people. When you understand your strength and you understand your gifting and you understand the goals of the team and the imperative of that podium moment when you all win and celebrate together, and you will realize, where do I fit in best and how can I make this team function the best? The challenge is that we all want to shine. We all want to be the Michael Jacksons of the day, but it's not everybody who can be out there. Some must hold and keep the process going. That's what the equalizer does. The equalizer moves with the rest of the group, but he's facing away from the finishing line, not necessarily celebrated, not necessarily very well known, but guess what? The equalizer is very important. He receives the baton from the starter, runs, does his job without acclaim or pomp, holds it together, hands the baton over to the differentiator. The differentiator is the guy who rounds the curve. That's the guy now where you are starting to see, does the team have advantage? Are things getting better? Are we winning this one? You see, the differentiator, when he rounds the curve, he needs to stay in his lane. He can't drop the baton, runs, and of course he hands over to the finisher. Now the finisher is the popular guy. The finisher is the one everybody knows. It's the one everybody, whose name they shout. And the finisher's job, go down the last 100, make sure there is nobody else in front of you. Don't drop the baton. Make sure you finish ahead of everybody else. Then the team can have what is called a podium moment. I'm sure you've seen the podium moments, number 1, 2, 3, gold, silver, bronze. Those whose efforts are celebrated as a team, they get to enjoy the podium moment. So the outcome of successful teamwork is the fact that the team can achieve its goal of appearing at the podium, not just of appearing in Brazil, no, the goal of being on the podium and holding a prize, my brother.
Excellent, excellent. So quickly, we should conclude this one, but there was a part that was so amazing to me last week that I really want to recap on. When you spoke about the baton exchange, and you say the race is won or lost in that exchange.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You see, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how gifted the starter is, the equalizer, the differentiator, or the finisher is. They can be the most gifted, but if the baton is dropped, the team gets disqualified. So a lot of teams can have good individual ability, but they fail when the baton gets exchanged. That is how the teams communicate, how the teams collaborate. What happens as that baton is passed, a lot of teams fail there. People step on each other's corns, and then it ceases to be about the goal of the team. It is now about the offense of the individual members. And so the baton exchange, as I said as well last week, we used to practice baton exchange during school hours. They would call us the relay team, and we would stand there and just practice how to just seamlessly move that baton from one team member to another. It's the same for organizations. It's the same in families. And communication is what makes a lot of initiatives fall to the ground. And so if you can drop the baton, you disqualify the team. That's the thing.
Okay, folks, enough of catching up. We're going to move on to tonight's topic. It's very important that we move on. We've already spent 10 minutes on last week's show, which you should have watched last week. So, Dr. T, let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about the next level, which is the characteristics of effective teams.
Right. Now, this is very important because remember, it's a developing conversation from where we started with the 4 members of a team. Now that people know their space or know their place in a team and they are comfortable in that, the question then to ask is, when you look at a team, at a winning team, at an effective team, what is it that you can see? Because success leaves clues and success is always duplicable. So you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel in any human field of endeavor unless you are a pioneer. You are part of the 2% of the population that's pioneering something totally new. Even then, concepts of teamwork and all of these are age-old concepts that we can learn from. So you observe successful people and successful teams, and you simply duplicate what they do. American philosopher, a guy by the name of Will Durant, famously paraphrased Aristotle. He said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Remember, I always say neurons that fire together wire together, right? So therefore, on that premise, Rams, excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So you can literally develop a habit of excellence from the concept of saying we are what we repeatedly do. So ample research shows that this observation applies to the individual, but as well as to teams. High-performing teams, these promote habits which are repeatable, consistent behavior that produce excellent results. For example, exercising just for 30 minutes a day will over time produce excellent results.
Wow. So talk to me, Dr. T, about the STAR team model that you mentioned to me as we were preparing for the show.
Oh, absolutely. The STAR team model has got 4 steps, right? This model describes 4 steps, and it's very easy steps that help leaders and their teams develop and maintain a painstaking focus on these small repeated actions that produce a practical culture of success. Remember, if the outcome is success, there are these consistent behaviors that need to be a part of them. In fact, John Katzenbach calls them the critical few. So there are these few behaviors which are small in nature but produce great outcomes that every successful leader and every successful team needs to lock into and consistently develop. You don't have to be charismatic as a leader, you don't have to have amazing charisma. As long as you can lock your people, lock their vision, lock the intention towards a specific outcome, you are able to do so well. You are able to do amazingly well. And so, Rams, I'm going to talk about the STAR model because it suggests that effective teamwork, right, Whether it's in the workspace or in the home, it happens when 4 elements are in place, right? These elements are the S, remember it's the star model. So the S stands for strength, right? S is for strength, T is for teamwork, A is for alignment, and R is for results. So strength, teamwork, alignment, results. These need to be in place. Let me break it down a bit further, right? So individuals will always flourish as they use and develop their strengths. It's important that every team member understand what they bring to the table. They bring their strengths to the table. And so they flourish as they use and develop their strengths. Remember, for you to be part of a team, there must be something you bring to the table. That's your individual gifting, that's your individual strength. I think that's very important. Secondly, right, people come together building relationships, and that results in effective teamwork. So that's for the T. So the S in the star stands for strength, the T stands for teamwork, right? And then the A there stands for alignment. So we are saying the team leader must align the team. And in fact, the team must be in alignment through effective communication of purpose so that the individual strengths combine with the efforts of everybody else to deliver team results. So we've got strengths, we've got the collaborative action, which is the teamwork, and then we've got alignment to vision and the purposes of the team. And then, of course, the last one, the R for the star, is what we call the results. Together, everyone achieves more as performance flows and results that are meaningful and rewarding to the team are achieved. So when you think of star, any time, you know, a team is composed of stars. Each one is an individual star, but when we look at the star together, we're talking of strength, we're talking of teamwork or that collaborative action, we're talking of alignment to the vision and the goals of the team, and we're talking of producing tangible results. Those are the measures of an effective team.
I get the star model, Dr. T. Now it's perfect to me. But I ask you again, what are these characteristics of an effective team? What are they? Give them to me now one by one, because I need to be able to identify my team as of tonight or as of tomorrow morning.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, great stuff. Let's really get into it. Now, there's a number of them, and you know, remember I said that there are these small, consistent behaviors, but that are driven by certain mental frameworks. Once the mental frameworks are in place, then the behaviors sort of click in. They become a natural fit. The first one is the context of purpose. An effective team has a clear unity of purpose. Now, this is where, when something is blue, everybody sees blue. Others don't see shades of blue. When it's a spade, it's a spade. It's not a big spoon. It's a spade, right? So an effective team has got a clear unity of purpose where we understand. Remember, unity is not uniformity. Uniformity is looking alike. We all wear red caps, or we all wear green jackets. We have uniformity, but it doesn't mean we have unity. Unity is seeing the same thing. Unity is the absence of divisions. You know, like I know some organizations that have split 7 times, political parties that have split 8 times, you know. There was no unity. Yes, they wore the same color uniform, but there was no unity. So that concept of a clear unity of purpose is a critical factor of an effective team, you know. And so there is freedom to discuss the objectives until the members are able to commit themselves to them, because the objectives are meaningful to each group member. So you find yourself in the purpose of the team, and there is ownership of where we are going as a team.
Okay.
Right. Secondly, the group itself is conscious about its own operations, right? Let's say the team takes time to explicitly discuss progress. How are we going to achieve our objectives? How are we going to function? You know, what is our mutually agreed upon approach? What are the mechanics? You see, the challenge is that when the group has no consciousness of its own operations, there is what we call assumption. And assumption is the mother of all mess ups. Because then you assume, you know, then we assume, no, Rams was going to give the introduction to the show. We actually assume Freddie was going to record, and then we assumed Dr. T was going to talk about teams tonight. But no, Dr. T wanted to talk about prosperity, you see. And so when there is no clarity of operation and clarity of the granular in terms of how we execute, you will find that there will always be clashes because assumptions come in. And once assumptions come in, then there are expectations that are not met because what you assume is not my reality. And you find that even in relationships, look at relationships, whether it's business relationships or it's romantic relationships or it's marriages. Everything that falls apart doesn't necessarily fall apart because of its core parts. No, it's normally because of the relational component. The product will be there, the business will be doing well, but because we don't agree on what to do, how to do it, we walk apart. You see, that's one of the challenges, right?
Dr. T, I've always been a stickler. I've been a stickler all my life of something called performance goals. Do they matter as a characteristic in this game? I've always said if you don't have performance goals, then nobody knows what they have to deliver on.
Oh, I agree. You see, the point about the fact that the team must have a clear set and demanding performance goals. The whole point is that you can't manage what you don't measure. See, performance goals are not an enemy. And I know to a lot of people, the moment you start saying there needs to be accountability in terms of our goals, people don't want to be a part of that commitment because we are afraid, number one, of committing. Two, we are afraid of being measured. But how will you improve if there's no measurement? How are we going to know if we're making progress? I will know I'm getting to Cape Town when I see Temple Mountain. That's a measurement of the geographical location of my destination. So the team must have concrete milestones against which it measures itself. It defines and achieves a continuous series of small wins all the way along to larger goals. So yes, these clear, demanding performance goals are critical to an effective team.
Okay, what's next?
Right. Now, again, in a winning team, here's something powerful. The atmosphere needs to be comfortable and relaxed. There are no tensions. A working atmosphere in which people are involved and interested must be absent of these heavy atmospheres. Have you ever walked, Rams, into whether it's a car where there's a couple, whether it's a romantic couple or it's a business couple, and you get in there and the atmosphere is tense. It's so heavy, as if these people are carrying rocks. No one has said anything, but the atmosphere says, hey, I need to be out of this car. I need to open the windows. You see, you can't be an effective team if you are always sustaining an atmosphere like that. Some boardrooms are war zones. Some workstations are war zones. Some homes are war zones where the atmosphere is not conducive for progress at all. And effective teams have learned how to create enabling atmospheres where everybody feels that they are part of the team, everybody feels that they matter, and everybody feels that they can function with utmost flexibility and contribution because they have ownership, and also the atmosphere is very enabling.
Does that atmosphere, Dr. T, lead to everyone feeling that they can participate, and they do participate?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You see, effective teams have an open discussion policy. Effective teams don't talk down on those who don't have amazing ideas. So when you sit in a team and you are talking, someone gives an idea and the idea is not a bright one because there are brighter sparks there. You don't say, that's the dumbest thing I've heard today. I've sat in meetings and heard people say that. Someone says something, suggests something, and says, that's the dumbest thing I've heard today. You see, you can never be an effective team because the moment you start talking like that, you shut down that person. And the day they see a little gap that could have been closed for the team, they will let the bleed happen until the team runs out of all its lifelines. Why? Because when they wanted to contribute, they were shut down. Effective teams create an atmosphere of discussion where everybody participates. If the discussion goes off track, gently bring everybody back, but you are able to listen to one another. Every idea is given a hearing, and people are not afraid of being foolish by putting forth a creative thought. Even if it seems extreme, they know we are part of the team. We are safe. There's an atmosphere of safety.
Okay, so it is very important that there's free expression of people's feelings and their ideas there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. A team is functional to the degree that people can express themselves freely. See, that's always the point. I know there are a lot of managers, a lot of leaders, a lot of heads of households, a lot of business partners that will call a meeting and say, guys, we are a team. We need to win as a team. But no one can dare say anything. No one can share their ideas. And you get told, no, we pay you to do it, not to think. But we are a team. Okay. There is something that's obviously not resonating in this context. You see, and so people are free in expressing their feelings as well as their ideas. There is context of respect. There is context of understanding boundaries. But believe me, I mean, I've got a colleague of mine who runs an amazing business. Do you know that in his board, there's a janitor that sits on his board?
Wow.
He even has a driver that sits on his board, because he says when we are discussing strategies and this and that, if these people's voices are not heard, we are missing something in this team. We are totally missing something. And so you find that business is one of the most effective businesses I have seen. Why? Because one guy decided that no, he was going to really make sure that teamwork means teamwork. Its strength, its collaboration, its alignment, and its results. That's what everybody brings to the team.
Dr. T, we are halfway through the characteristics, but the time has run out, and it's my fault. I started way at the back before we could go forward. So I'm going to say, let's hold on. We'll finish the other characteristics when we speak again next week, and also then look at how we build synergies and stuff like that. But let's hold off on the last 5 or so of these characteristics, and next week we pick up on them. Is that okay?
That's absolutely great, my brother. I think we've given good value today.
We did, and I promise, guys, I won't do too much of a catch-up when we do the next one so that we don't lose out on the time. But I always believe that there is no context if we don't do a catch-up. A catch-up is very important so that there's context. So let's leave it here, guys. It is a very great session. I always insist, do go back to last week's show so that you can make sense of today's show. If you missed last week's show, it's very important. It's only a click away on your phone or your laptop or your tablet. Go to it, go to that episode. It will make you stronger and richer, because if you don't know what part you play in the team, even these characteristics mean nothing until you know that part. It's very important. Thank you so much, Dr. Thando Sibanda. Always wonderful having you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I've really enjoyed tonight. I look forward to completing this part of the conversation. Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday. We have yet another entrepreneur who's got amazing opportunities for upcoming hustlers. He's built a business and he's saying, I'm going to grow with you. I'm going to pull you up with me as I grow. So he's got amazing opportunities for people who want to get into business, and he wants to give them a leg up. Do not miss it. It's very, very interesting, and it could be your break. So Frederick survived the weekend. I'm glad the show went on. I'm glad. Thank you very much, Fred. And from me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.